Don't make a move. Don't make a move. The gods of streaming are looking. The gods of streaming. Hold on. We're in danger. Man, this is weird. Hold on. Can I patchwork this? Why? Hey everybody. I know. We're seeing you live, buddy. I know. But hold on. This is chilling, people. I'm trying to find. Okay, this is not going as expected. Wait. What? All right, I think I'm fine. Anyway, I wanted to do something about the voice for the stream, which could be better. I know that, and I won't say why, but hold on. I want some kind of channel strip to just do it. You know, I can kind of EQ these microphones by memory now. It's insane. Trust me, I can do that. I just know exactly the settings to dial in from any plugin, but I don't want just that. But I can find, see, because I moved patchwork. That's what I use in my OBS. How are you doing, people? Hope you're fine. Welcome to the stream. All right. All right. Nobody's saying anything. You can't. All right. How is it? It's better? Yes, for sure. Maybe a little bit of definition here. Just a tiny little bit. All right. Do you want to compress my voice a little bit too? Let's do this. Right, Martin, how are you doing? Still have sore throat. Oh, I hate that. But, you know, I've done it for, like, I had it for like, if I'm thinking about that, I want to cough. So I don't have to think about that too much. All right. You know what? This might be fine. Do I have an output gain trim? 4? Boom. Yeah, some kind of 912. I don't have to think it because it was horrible. I mean, I didn't get very sick, but like I was, you know, sometimes coughing for like, you know, it stayed with me for a week or so, but just like light coughing. But Valeria hates people who cough for whatever reason. She would rather put you down than hear you cough like the 4th time. By the 3rd time, you're going down. you dead. All right, so you thought this stream was going to be about the secret. Man, could be, could still be. She sounds pretty badass, yes. Unfortunately. There's like, you know, with me, you can still like, you know, play around stuff, but with Valeria, you don't do that. The secret is, it's not a secret. Well, actually, we could talk about the secret because it's got a unique way of redesigning. I shouldn't be laughing when I say that though. It's like totally giving it away. It's got a unique way of dealing with aliasing. So it's mostly, let me just do this, hold on, boom, all right. So taking care of stuff. I was reinstalling some plugins, like updating them, and for some reason it asks for a serial number, Kiive plugins, that I am 100% sure I have authorized. So maybe they did change something. So right now there's like my serial numbers are visible here, so you can't see that. You have more plugins than I do. So you own all of the plugins I have, but still I cannot do it, you know, other people out there. So let me see, let me copy it here. So, all right, so don't mess with Valeria for sure. That's absolutely sure. Now, this is the, okay, so we start the stream with something super cool, which, you know, I'm glad that Martin's recovering. Hi, Marco. Hi, Jolie. I don't think I've missed anybody. Slowly recovering, delay, put the H3000. You know, I've just finished the recording of Old School Studio in the Box, the template that sounds really dope. And I've used 2 instances of the H3000 by Eventide that I own, that a plugin, not the real one. I've never had, I was tempted to get a real one once, but I had never done it. The Eventide plugin is plenty. I never touch it. I just dial presets. And there's a dual 910 preset that I always use. And the other one's called, I don't know. I call it H3000 side because I use it for like side content delay. So, all right. So hear me out. Hear me out. The plugin is pretty complicated, isn't it? The H3000, yes, it's absolutely insane. I have friends, and I said it in the masterclass, that are masters of the 3000, and they are just you know, like my age. They were not like in these super old days when it came out, but they're really good at programming it. I just cannot do it. I've never done it. I just go through the thousands of presets, and once you find 2 that you like, I pretty much remember the H3000 for like 2-3 presets. That's done. If I had to recreate those by scratch, from scratch, I would probably not be able to do it. You know, Mark II. I have the old anthology bundle from Eventide. I have a license from them because I did a workshop with Eventide, and then the people at Focal and Dangerous Music, and there were other plugins. I think Mac TSP as well. And so I got the licenses, and at the time they had Anthology, the old bundle or something. So I think they might have released a new one, and I don't have it. There's many plugins I don't have from them, but I have the Stereo Room 2016. That's beautiful. That's just fantastic. I have the Black Hole, which I have the pedal as well, Super Top, and again, the H3000. I think I have the 912 as well. I don't have the filters. They make great. I have Ultra Channel. I have Ultra Reverb. They make super cool stuff. Super cool. And they don't brag about it. Like they're like, you know, they make their stuff, and they and they did update. Yes, they did update their stuff, but they didn't do it free of charge. Like it was a major update, and they're charging you for it. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, are you ready for the secret? Like what happened today? All right. Martin says, I have quite some Eventide reverbs. They made the mistake someday of selling each. You made the mistake. I know. So they made the mistake to sell each one for $15. So you went on a killing spree. Yes. Well, they're cool plugins. So, are you ready? This is the news of the day. This is the news of the day. So today, this morning, I just, you know, go check my mail, and there's a package that I was not expecting, okay? So I look at the package, and the name just doesn't bring anything. And so I bring it in the house and just go, you know, move on to breakfast and that stuff. And then I check my mail, and in the mail, there's this message. So I find a message from this guy I know, whose name is Nate, and it's like, that's what the message says. It says like, hello Alberto, how are you? This is Nate from Epoch Makers of Gamers. I don't know if you know this brand, okay? It's super nerdy. It's getting super, super nerdy. Anyway, I read that one of the packages is out for delivery to you today, so it is time to write you this. So he wrote an email because he was tracking the package that got delivered. But we got like, the first trivia says, I read that one of the packages. I'll read the email and you'll realize who these people are. It's a nerdy thing, but I think you'll appreciate. When you open the package, you will find some things that are yours to keep. So I got freebies, people. I hope you like it. I wanted to send you some gifts for you to use on the live streams and in your videos. I checked your channel out right after we met and started following you. I've watched a lot of your content and it has helped me out tremendously to improve my work with audio. I'm super happy, Nate, that worked. My post-production, you remember I told you about my struggles, has improved a lot and I now quite like the quality of my recordings. I still have a lot to do, but it is no longer a complete disaster. So when I met Nate, I won't say where, but it was in Berlin. He told me about that he's doing media production and stuff. His role is, artist relations and stuff for this company. And he's doing videos and recordings and he's not very good at post. Sometimes he struggles with it. He said there's not a lot of stuff on it. So I gave him some tips and stuff that, he says that then he checked the channel, went on with it. So I love what you do and I love what you do and how you do it. He continues in the email. You have a lot of cool stuff, but there is one thing that I do not like from your videos, okay? And it's the sound of your computer keyboard, okay? You play musical keyboards, we make computer keyboards, but we do care about them being musical too, all right? So yeah, Nate from Berlin, shouldn't be too hard to locate him. So it's like, there's one guy. So there's one thing he doesn't like from my streams or videos, and he says that it's the sound of my computer keyboard, okay? So I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with my keyboard. It's a perfectly fine keyboard. But we were talking about these like 2 days ago, 3 days ago or something, right? And so since I know you have a musical ear, I thought I would fix your computer keyboard problem. Open what you received today and let me know what you think. I customized it a bit for you and then you can do the other customization yourself, all right? So I know you will figure out how to use it on your own, but if you need help, just ask. It would be great if you do some audio comparisons, maybe record some audio of the keyboard and switches for your followers. Just some ideas. I hope you enjoy. Thanks again for the help and the good chat at Superbooth last time. That's where we met when I was at Superbooth. And I think he's on the videos. If you were Patreons, you have access to them. Also, the tip on what to order at the Italian restaurant. In front of Superbooth, there is an Italian restaurant which I think changed owners or a little bit in the years, but a lot of people from Superbooth go eat at that restaurant once it's done because it's on the other side of the street. You have to cross like 8 lanes, including the tram line. But if you survive, you get to this Italian restaurant, which is pretty convenient. So I've been there, many times because it was not too far from the studio and from where we lived. And we became friends with the original owners. And so I said, if you go there, order this, and this. And it's like the tips worked. If you're back in Berlin and have a good time for coffee, let me know. Kind regards, Nate. So, you ready? There's 2 things in the package. These I'm gonna start from this. I don't even know what some of these things are. All right, so I know what this is. This is like a key puller, I think. Okay, so I told you this is nerdy, okay? I haven't looked in the box, the actual box. I know it's a keyboard, as you said that, and the keyboard's there. So this, I think it's a switch puller. I'll put it away. I cannot believe this happened while we were talking about that. That's for removing keys, right? I mean, I've seen people do it, but I've never done. This is for removing switches. This is for, the switches thing. And then I have a key cron and love that thing. Right, I remember that, Martin, like you're geek. I have these keyboard, it's amazing. I don't want to now say which keyboard I have because it's like, it looks like that's the bad keyboard. It's a fantastic keyboard. I know it has Sherry MX Brown switches. We talked about them. Look at this thing. What is this thing? What is this spider thing? Boop. That's very scary. It's like an alien kind of spider thing. And then there's like 2 brushes. Maybe that's for cleaning the keyboard. Could it be? And then there's this thing, which I think is used maybe for opening the switches or something. because it has like a shape of a switch backwards. For smaller parts, you probably. All right, so I'm gonna put everything back in. This looks like a keyboard kit, like for cleaning it, probably. Like a cleaning kit or a replacement kit. I know people switches or something. So this was the small bag. I'm gonna put it here on the floor, hold on. And then this thing is the keyboard that he sent me, all right? So I have to move the WWF players somewhere else because I have no room. So we gotta put these people maybe here. Right, here, right. So he sent me a keyboard which looks to me as if it's like a smaller size because it's just the box itself is on the smaller side. So I'm gonna open these. Thank you, Nate. I don't know, he didn't know there was a stream because I hadn't scheduled it. So this looks like a keyboard. It is. Okay, there's a cable. There's a cable and there's, okay, this came off. There's another, I think, kit or something about that. All right. Hey Jazz, I think that's the manual. All right, I'm gonna open the keyboard. Wow, this looks really good. It's got yellow spacebar. Wow, okay, let me drop these down so it doesn't kill anyone. This is the keyboard. Looks really cool. Ooh, he can here it is. ASMR. I'm gonna become an ASMR streamer. He says like, I read that one of the packages is out for delivery, but maybe he meant the tools and the keyboard. Ooh, the spacebar is super cool. So they don't click down. I'm putting it close to my mic so you can hear it. Wow. I think this is what, 65%? No? It's got basically the cursor. What is this? This is a small screen. Is it? Sounds very smooth, right? But he said like, drift away. Walk towards the light. I think it's, I don't know. I know there are percentages for, ooh, hold on. There's a dongle here. Can you see it? Yeah. All right. So there's a dongle and it's Windows, Macintosh, Bluetooth, USB 2.4. Okay, right now it's on Bluetooth. So what is this dongle for? Maybe it's the 2.4. So, right. Oh, and there's like the tiny feet here. Oh my God, it's got RGB. Unbelievable. And the goodness, the screen. I'm happy right now. Got an official freebie. Oh God, the enter key is amazing. I'm gonna do ASMR keys. But he says like, did he customize it somehow? I customized it a bit for you and then you can do the other customization yourself. What kind of customization can I do? If you want to use it via the dongle, says Martin. Yeah, I mean, I don't have Bluetooth on my computer here. So, but there's a cable, see? And there is like a USB-C port here. So, I got a freebie. We got an official, there's also a wheel here. This is good. All right, and this occupies like 30% less easy on my desk, on which I don't want to show you. There's no room. So, wow, this is good. So I'm gonna put my microphone close to it. This is good. This spacebar. Do we want to do a comparison? Comparison with the old keyboard. But I, I have to make sure I don't type something. Okay, ready? So this is the old keyboard. I think it sounds pretty good. But this one, I gotta say, that's true. This one sounds much better. Yeah. Yeah. Night and day, Joey, what do you think? Which one sounds better? Old? I'm typing my name and the new one, right? The new one sounds much better. He's right. Nate, I'm recording this stream, so I'm gonna snip it in a good way and send it to you. Old one? New one? The new one's just unbelievable. The new one's unbelievable. This thing is awesome. And it's light, but it's heavy. So, all right, I know they make keyboards for nerds, not for, woo. The old one, okay, Jolie, please explain. So Jolie says the old one aliases badly. What is it aliases? I'm gonna type my name again because that's the one thing I can write without making mistakes. Ah, okay. All right. So it was a joke. All right, didn't get it. New one. Ooh, really good. Okay, okay. So I imagine, so there's Bluetooth, USB 2.4. So there's three distinct, like the switch has three positions. Man, this is good. I'm completely derailing the stream because I got a freebie. It's got home, page up, page down. You know I'm left-handed, and when I play games, I don't use the WASD thing. I have my mouse in my left hand and my keyboard on the right. So one thing is I use my keypad for movement, but I can probably do it on the O or J. All right, yes, I'll do it from JIKL. Man, this is insane. This is good. All right, so stream's over. I gotta just do a, do we do like a stream just where I record with a Neumann mic? Like, but there's libraries already, right? Oh, hold on. He wrote, it would be great if you do some audio comparisons, maybe record some audio of the keyboard and switches. Okay, make comparisons with the old one and new one. Okay, but the new one I can only say the switches. I don't want to say the name. Follow the switches. There's people doing ASMR videos for real of this stuff, I'm sure. Nice, this is beautiful. I have to put it somewhere safe now. Look at this thing. I mean, if you turn it on, wow. You probably saw it because it was on the other side, and I didn't because it's just, I wasn't paying attention. Honestly, like, it's not invasive because it's not, you can't really, it's not bothering you. There's nothing from the outside that shines out. But see, for example, now it just, okay, went away. It turns itself off. And there's a knob that you can use for volume. Yes, I mean, I've used the one on the keyboard I have as well. There's a mute button as well on the one I have, a sleep button that I never use, and then there's a play, rewind, and forward that I also never use. But the volume knob is really useful because you go from YouTube to, you know, any other app or something, and it keeps shifting a little bit. And so you just quickly grab the knob and just, nice. Okay, I'm sold. Thanks. Good thing they don't do it for audio. Can you imagine? Like, this is your Fairchild 670 compressor. Do whatever you want with it. If you can just, show it with a couple pictures, that'd be awesome. Otherwise, just, who cares? Just do whatever. I'm not that kind of guy. The keyboards, I mean, I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled. This is good. This is good. Okay, it needs proper recording. We'll do a contact sound library of this thing. I can't believe it. Unbelievable. So I have to write Nate for sure. I'll do it later. But thank you, Nate. Thank you very much. This was awesome. I'll give you my thumbs up thing. Thank you. This is good. All right. I'm gonna replace my keyboard when I have time, not now, because if we do it now, I'm done. Okay. So, why were we here today? I forgot. Oh, I have other plugins. Okay, so he downloaded the ones I wanted. What? Wait. What? How? All right, go. Get these out of the way. The stream here we don't need. Okay, no, yes, bye. We'll take a look at what we need to do. Bitwig, for sure. So that's a good start of the stream. Every time I stream, I go about some free stuff. That would be good. But this is insane. We did talk about the fact that, like mechanical keyboards, I did talk about it with you as well, right? There's people that like the clicky stuff, but these are completely different. Like they have, it's kind of like they're more vertical, if that makes sense, for whatever reason. So freestyling. All right, so we need to, I have an idea of a session I want to open. I think you had this session to mix for this month, for this month's patron mix. Do we do this? Yes, of course. Boom. You know this. You love the blue switches, but the yellow ones sound great. There's yellows. I knew there were brown, blue, and red. As far as I know, I have the browns here on the keyboard I have played with the computer keyboard. The blue ones are amazing, but in a studio environment or, we, like for example, Valeria types a lot. So, her home office is on the first floor. You would hear it everywhere in the house, just clicking everywhere. And it would drive her and probably myself insane as well. So I've never tried the yellow ones. Okay, I don't know which switches are here, what he did customize, but this one sounds a lot more like low mid frequency oriented, and there's just a single sound hitting. This one sounds a little bit more all over the place, but the pressure sensitive thing sounds like I'm going more just straight down on the keyboard, and there's a little bit maybe less travel than this one, but this one feels like the keys are, going. I've written I don't know how many, hours on this keyboard, like literally a lot, because of the editing of the thing, like really doing that. So wow, okay. What do we need here? Workspace, audio sessions. Do I have the audio sessions here? No. Audio sessions, right? Friends or old? Old. What do we have here? I'm thinking, which session do you have for this month? This, right. Okay. All right. These. I think this track This is the breathe this moment, right? The blue ones are great, but they annoy people. They do, like a lot. I love them. I wouldn't mind in a situation in which I'm not working. But if I'm like, you know, no. Imagine I'm like, imagine somebody's on their laptop, right? And they're just doing stuff while they're in here and I'm mixing something. No way, right? It's gonna be like so clicky, so insane, you know. I don't like lots of people say it's great for me. Absolutely. I would use it deterrent. Just that so people are like, oh man, I think he seemed to just make it work. Okay. So let me set the session up first. Save here the sessions, Bitwig, oh, the tab, Tubetizer. Like YouTube is not receiving. Are we still live? Weird. What is happening? I see that as well. Here too. Well, I see that. Open Studio. No. Yes. Here. Viewers may see ads for no, whatever. No. Not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. What? How? Why? For whatever reason. What is happening? Is my power profile weird? Here too? It's still there. It happened when I opened. It happened when I didn't play with. Seems to be better. Let's wait a little bit. Maybe we'll. I'm recording locally, so this stream, you know, will have access to it. But I'm still seeing it yellow for whatever reason. Why is that happening? Switch this. Do I stop the streaming? Psychedelic man? Yeah, that's true. Do I stop the streaming and restart? For whatever reason? There's really no reason this would be happening. I've just put, I'm trying to think. That's a problem. Manual, here. That's your chat. Here, sound is back. Stream health, maybe this one. Well, let's see. Stream health, poor. Not enough video to maintain smooth streaming. That does not make any sense. It's the same settings we've always used. Who's doing this? Setting. Let me see if I can change anything here. Stream, output, streaming. There is no way this is not working. High quality? No, that's exactly how it should be. What is going on? Seems okay now? It's not turning green. Well, we can wait a little bit, and if it greens itself out. This is kind of weird. If it greens itself out, it's not needed. It looks better now, but it should become green, right, on my side as well. It should say like, dude, it's okay. I'll close this. I have nothing open. So I'm thinking maybe it's Bitwig scanning plugins or something that has just completely destroyed it. Seems better, right? We'll do some tests. I've imported these. And let me know if it doesn't work, whatever. It doesn't hurt my recording because I'm recording anyway. So, you know, we'll be safe for sure. But, so that's our audio here. Let me just deal with the drums. Color tagging, okay? So we're tagging all the drums here. For some reason it's not. Why aren't these changing color? Yo. Man, this is weird. Okay, okay, Okay. We're there. ARP, no. Bass, we got 3 bass. Yeah, YouTube can be weird, so we don't know. But luckily I have to color tag stuff. So, I don't know. It might fix itself. Chords, E piano, guitar. Okay, guitar goes orange. Guitar, orange. Eden, Extra, RE20. These are all vocals. So they go at the end. Whistler and Poly6. ARP 2600. Chords, E piano. Let's do a light one. Maybe a purplish thing. And then we do this. Oh, you know what it could be? When I drag the audio and it's calculating the beats for the audio that I've imported. It's still saying to me it's not receiving enough. I have no idea if I stop the stream and restart it, if I do it fast enough, if you're gonna lose the stream, or if it's just gonna work. But if you don't see any difference in the usual problems, it means that we solved it anyway. So, let me just load the usual stuff here. If you have questions about what I'm doing, you know, I'm just setting things so that we have that you can hear what I'm doing. What is that? Why did I load the backs? No. Choose master. Here, this one. All right. Here. This has to go to U. It's to go to -12 because we're usually kind of loud. And this goes to +6. We're good. All right. So you should have audio. I'm just going to press some audio on the drums here. Man, this thing hits like a truck. I didn't remember that hitting that much. Nice. All right. So did you get some ballsy bass and whatever? Maybe it's going to master, so it should work. Let me do the groups now. So G for drums. Drums. Bass, G. Bass. Chords. Piano. I have no idea what these are. So we're going to call them Synths 1. And then these two, Synths 2. It's a record pretty much oriented on synths. So all DVs. Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you, Martin, for letting me know. So now I'm going to do the routing, which is always the weirder. So I've closed all of the folders. Oh, there's a guitar there, right? Guitar. Awesome. So folders need to go to my mix bus, which we have to create here. We'll call it mix. Then we do another one. We're going to do another, like a tape track. Let's call these tape. And we do this. Do this. We take these two, we put them green, and now we want mix to go to tape. Then we want all of the buses to go to mix. And then we want the tracks in them. The keyboard sounds are like ice picks in the ear after hearing the new keyboard. So Nate, you're totally right. You're totally right. He said, like, there's one thing I don't like about your streams and videos. It's the sound of your computer keyboard. And now nobody can stand it because, because I just gave you the comparison. I gotta be honest with you, I like the new one a lot better. It's just giving me that relaxing old school vibe. I might be super weird, but it just gives me that it's unbelievably true. It could be ASMR for sure. There's no reason why it couldn't. I mean, I'm not gonna become an ASMR streamer, but so you see how drum tracks go to drums folder. The drums folder goes to mix. The mix goes to tape. Our tape goes to master so that you can hear it, right? We gotta make sure all of these tracks do it. So the inputs I'm not too, preoccupied about, but I'm gonna remove them anyway. And then Jolie, you're probably gonna love this because you had a similar issue on your session. I think you asked me on Patreon about that on Discord. So the problem with Bitwig Studio, if you're entering Bitwig Studio, by the way, I'm still mixing on Bitwig Studio and producing on it, mostly composing. The things for Fears to Fathom were done in Bitwig. My work for the end of the year and next year is being done on Bitwig Studio as well, and then Nuendo 13. It works, and I had no complaints whatsoever, like absolutely zero complaints. But there are some things that if you don't know them, they will kind of throw you off. The first thing that Bitwig Studio does that we hate about it, because we're used to Pro Tools oriented stuff, is the stretching of the samples. As far as I know, the audio you import in Bitwig might tend to be moved in tempo detect. It gets detected and then retimed. It could happen. So how do you get that, how do you prevent that from happening? Well, you select all of the audio tracks, like all of the clips themselves, like all of them. And you go here at the bottom left. Look closely here. Audio events, 26, okay? Length, 92 bars, 0, 3 beats, 69, all right? Muted no, mode. This is what you want to do. Raw, leaves audio untouched, providing no beat time synchronization. This is what you must do if you import anything that does not require audio, like beat time synchronization. Just do it anyway. Even if you have the correct BPM and the audio was recorded at that specific BPM level, there is no reason for you to keep stretch, slice, cyclic, whatever. Just go raw. Now I'm gonna click raw and pay attention to the waveforms, okay? Everybody just keep an eye on the waveforms versus the ruler on top. When I click raw, it might move because I don't think 110 was the tempo we had. I have no idea which kind of BPM it was. Maybe because you mixed these for this month's pattern, but I'm gonna click it in. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, it didn't move. It didn't move. Why didn't it move? Because it's 110? No. I'm thinking no. We're gonna go in the interface and we're gonna further investigate these. If you go to behavior, you'll see audio import settings. Thank you, Jolie. Yeah, it's a good tip. I've learned these, on my own and to my own demise. So the defaults are one thing, like what default track volume do you want? 0. What default stretch mode do you want? Stretch, right? You're gonna look for raw in here. You're not gonna find raw in here because what default stretch mode you want cannot be raw. It's not a stretch mode. So it makes sense that they did that, and I'm keeping stretch. I don't mind. It's okay. Now, when you record or bounce, which stretch mode do you want? Stretch, anyway. But then the important part comes. Audio import settings. Do you want to import playing them at original speed or stretch to project tempo? I think I keep it at play at original speed. That's it. I don't know if this is the preview. I gotta be honest with you, I don't know. If this is like preview it at original speed or stretch, but it says audio import. The people at Bitwig are pretty strict. If it's importing, it means it will play it back at original speed, probably also in the previews. So we're gonna preview at original speed and also import at original speed. Then you wanna insert a clip from the first beat or insert a clip from sample start. I usually do sample start, but that's because I've been doing some sample importing. That's it. So here, as far as I know, you cannot tell Bitwig to say like, dude, disable the stretching. If I want stretching, I'll turn it on my own, okay? So as far as I know, you cannot do it, but it seems that because it's longer audio files, it did not stretch them. It seems, or because I have play at original tempo. So I have honestly no idea. When I played it back, it does sound like the song itself though. So that would be cool. So now that we got pretty much everything on it, let's do some gain staging because this thing's gonna be loud. So let me take all of these tracks and let me drop them down. Right, minus infinite, the synths we're gonna put at minus infinite, the guitar down, the chords down, the bass down. By the way, I love Bitwig's volume fader look. It's just no fuss, right? So it's just like a bar, an orange bar, without looking three-dimensional, dimensional, you know that stuff? It's just like, doesn't care. It's good. So let's do this. Drum 01. How does these sound? I wish I had that option. Which option? Like you want them 3D looking? Like a little bit more like enticing? So I'm gonna play it and then we'll see if we're too loud. We're probably, yes, too loud. A lot. Like what, where, who? This is all, okay, this is too much. Just because of these two tracks, it can't be. Let me see. It's too loud, for sure. So we're gonna trim it, not from the clips, we're gonna trim it from Tool. If you don't have Tool, you're gonna have something else in your DAW because this is just, it's how it is. So I'm gonna go minus 6 dBs down and I'm gonna rename this minus 6 trim, okay? So this little thing we're gonna copy over here on all of the drum tracks, all of them. So now I'm gonna solo the drums, just the drums, play it there. I wanna see and like hear how it is first. All right, sounds pretty good in terms of level, right? So we're gonna go tape and we're gonna take tape phase. Oh, yes. All right. It's Kiive's distortion. We used Kiive's tape phase just for our kicks, just for kicks. Meter in, I'm gonna keep this guy on so that we can see whether, and I'm gonna become a little bit smaller because you can't see everything. I think it's better if we do. So let's just take a look at what the default is here. Tape type, manual, 2 or 3. Ooh, right. It's been a while since I've used these, honestly, but I like it when I use it. So let's try that. I think it's fine at 0. So this one is gonna give us the idea of how loud the record is, okay? That's a default for set on input so that we can kind of see where we are. There's also a gain reduction. So this thing calculates the amount of reduction of tape compression. Yes, are we compressing? Yes. Well, a little bit, okay? So we have that little bit of compression. So I'm gonna keep these on, and I'm going to copy the minus 6 to the bass as well, to the chords, to the guitars, but on the single tracks, okay? This is gonna have zero impact on your performance because this thing is absolutely clean. So I do it at track level so we have a nice just environment. And then I'm gonna press play and add the basses that are missing. So bass, chords, let's see. I think that's okay. I think we're good on level. Nice. Okay, so now we take the drums. This thing, this is just good. Okay, this is Tubetizer. We take the drums, we go trial, because I haven't bought it. And tape face we keep just for kicks because it's a nice, it's our meter. Or maybe no, we close it. We close it because we know it's okay. So we keep Tubetizer. This is my first time opening it. Probably you people tried it already. So let's go 125%. And it just came out today. So we got distortion, output. I'm looking at it with you. Sidechain filter, type, odd, even, or mixed, triode, pentode, iron. Okay, plus iron. Tone, low, high, compression. Seems pretty straightforward. Meter, inputs or outputs, on or off, oversampling, gain link, mix, presets, Kiive audio, the thing. I'm clicking on weird stuff just so that we make sure we know if things happen. All right, there's no secret so far, it seems. And okay. So usually when I try distortion plugins, I have this fear that they will get blasted at me. So I'm gonna go lower, like actually 0, and then we're gonna go up, okay? Let's try that. Then it sounds pretty much, tube distortion, So let's try that. Oh, okay, it's soloing the whole drum thing, so it's not playing this. So let's solo drums 0, 1. Okay, I hear it. Okay, it's not blasting at us. Let me do it off on just from the defaults. Okay, so default sounds a tiny little bit quieter. Let me move to pentode. Okay, so the levels are a tiny little bit different between the 3 modes. Would make sense. I have a culture vulture that when you switch modes, you go from T to, from, what is it? From T to P1 or P2, you have to redo the settings anyway because they won't sound the same. So this is absolutely normal. If you're worrying about the fact that the volume levels are changing to the lower when you go towards iron, it's absolutely okay. I mean, on the real thing, if you have a sort of saturation device, the same would happen. So, let's distort. Okay, that's fairly permissive. Like, I was imagining at 50, like, is it doing anything? But it's also triode, so yeah, okay. That's a lot of feather touch, huh? Which is good. I think it's cool in the sense that it's not instantly going. It reminds me somehow of the culture vulture, sort of like delicacy, or kindness, if you go towards the triode thing. Like to make it overseeing, it's a little bit harder than you would think. On pentode, however, it should kind of kick it. Okay. It's side chaining 20 hertz? No. Okay. So here I would have expected it to crush the kicks as well. Instead, here how it's just preserving the low part and just crunching the high, like adding highs. Now this thing, I am not sure on the culture voucher these would have. It's a good thing for mixing because it's just not going Armageddon on anything, but it sounds like the filter is already there. I think this side chain is to ignore the lows. We're not gonna read the manual. We're gonna try and find out. For sure. Okay, so how about iron? All right, so is plus iron a pentode plus iron? It's like it's kind of a low pass filter. That's sounding kind of nice. I'm thinking guitars here would just eat these. But okay, now let me think about compression. Let's do pentode compression. I want to try and see if I can get the low frequency part to just, you know, go completely haywire. Okay, better. I don't want to link the gains. Okay, wait. Now, the sidechain filter is acting on the compression control as well. Because once we go higher with the SC, the level goes up. So it means that the compressor is fed with less signal, and so for that reason it compresses less and focuses more. So, you know, I'm fairly sure about that because it wouldn't do that otherwise. So I wanted to crush the lows and that's it. Let's see. I cannot get it to do mayhem in the lows. So maybe it's me. I'm not saying it sounds bad. I'm just saying that it's really sort of like a mid to high mid, sort of like focus concentration giver. Sounds good, for sure. Let me try and do a mix of these. So you can still balance everything by using the output knob. I don't think, however, that this will ever affect the mix knob. So I don't know if some people are gonna ask for like a master output, because this one's clearly not an output for the mix. It's an output for the distortion mechanism, right? Right, because I'm moving the output at mix 0, it's not doing anything. So once you get your mix level, you need to remix it through something else, like the fader or a different plugin. So it's nice, but it doesn't want to do a full spectrum distortion thing. It's a Tubetizer. Why are we, what's the doubt about it? It's a Tubetizer. It kind of tubetizes things, but it doesn't wreak havoc on the track. You hear it? That anvil hit gets kind of crunched in a nice way, but the bottom is not getting affected by it. And if we sidechain higher, okay, if we sidechain higher, we can get to a point where we're not feeding the distortion pretty much any signal, but it kind of helps on the compression thing. So you hear how the tail of that goes? In and out on the top bar like other Kiive products has been requested. Right, exactly. You know, that's probably here, like the gain link, you move things a little bit around, make the mix a little bit smaller, and you get room for an in clean trim and an out clean trim. Yeah, why not? I mean, it's always, it doesn't go mental like Decapitator. Yes, exactly. Decapitator or Mac DSPs, you know, 60/60s distortions, or what kind of distortion? Even there's something that Kiive does that has a lot of distortion potential. Maybe it's the field channel when you just completely crunch stuff, or the max one. Oh, all right. So well, let's do something with these on the guitar, actually, the guitar part, because this guitar. Let me solo the guitar. Let me do Tubetizer. This guitar could be, go away. This guitar could be good. Eddie must have known people want that, curious that he would leave that out. Yeah, that's true. But a nice gentle distortion. Yeah, I mean it's a Tubetizer, you know. So that's good. It's kind of easy sometimes to completely, utterly destroy everything. I gotta say the triode push is kind of genuine. Although this is like, you know, mono-ish kind of drums with a little bit of effects. Let me hear a guitar. All right, so this guitar could get a lot of help from odd, even, tone, you know, these kind of stuff. So let me find a section here. All right, so I want to make it darker. Distinct, absolutely. Distinct I love, and you know, that would make sense. So distinct can take full spectrum stuff and say, bye, you know, your signal's gone. There's only distorted audio cards from the 90s. So distinct is, you know, up my alley for the digital wasteland. Marco, that's how he says that. I can't wait to hear more digital wastelands. That's kind of distinct area. This one's more like, it can be a sort of like a tube preamp emulator. You know, honestly, yes. It probably falls a little bit even more on that. Like if for a Leslie, for feeding into a guitar cab, we should try that as well. Do I have a clean guitar version of these? No. But maybe on bass. All right, so we're gonna try an amp, and we're gonna try and feed maybe on the guitar, it's not too distorted. We're gonna try and feed these into the guitar amp. All right, let's try it again. I have an idea about the 3000. All right, ready? So why did I do this? Because we talked about the H3000, but it's a great example of it. So hear how without these, the guitar into the 3000 sounds, what it sounds like, and then I'm gonna turn the Tubetizer on, and you'll hear why some gentle pushes sometimes give you so much on the inserts that are afterwards. So sometimes it doesn't quite feel like you're doing anything, but it's just giving more beef, more meat to the effects or to anything that comes after. So delays, reverbs, sometimes you can, you could put something like Tubetizer on your send return for the 3000 before the 3000, So I've tried the Pro, but I have used the normal one, and it works. I mean, there's a couple things that in the new productions I've done, there's a couple more distortion processors. One is Arturia's, Refract, that I said, that I have on my template. We did a video on it. And Distinct, absolutely. And the problem for me to remember these things is that I don't remember the plugins that are used, because it's usually like 2 or 3 in a chain. I remember the name of my effects bus, the send return. So for example, if you have glitch delay, Distinct is there as well on one of the dry wet mixes. I've used, I think, multipass or snap heap. No, I think multipass to split the lows and the highs. And for example, Distinct's there. Refract on something else. Was it Refract or was it no, it's Cold Fire. Apologies. Dist Cold Fire. Dist Cold Fire. Dist Cold Fire I think I've used on Crotosian or something else. So it's just before the reverb. That's the beauty and problem of what I do, is that I remember Crotosian and you go like, what? Wait, what? There's no plugin called Crotosian. Well, there's Krotos concept, and then there's other plugins that I've put in there as an effects chain, and then I've called it, one way, and I remember what it does. So these 2 plugins I've used a lot in my template. Okay, the Distinct Pro has a mid side. All right, okay. So yeah, that one and Cold Fire are, I think, the 2 distortion things that when they came out, I added, and then again, kind of stayed there. And then I open sometimes the template, open the device and go like, oh, wait, there's this thing here. But I remember, and that's the normal one. Dist Cold Fire, yeah, that's the Arturia version as well. Yeah, the Refract's a different thing, I don't know. Again, the names are getting hard to remember. They all means anything. So let's do before and after off for the guitar. And then from there, we go to a dual 910. Let's hear what it sounds like. I'm gonna go 100% effect, or maybe a little bit less. Maybe let's go 44. And let's hear how the 910s kind of sound, because we're pushing it tube-wise. Not as much as I expected, so we're kind of still too gentle. Let's try it again. Okay, so now we're getting close. And now I know you say well, this is level. If you take your guitar and just push more volume into the 910s, it's just gonna sound louder, Yeah, look it up, Martin, because the Distinct Pro again has mid side. Maybe there's a couple other modes. I don't remember. I tried it and then I said I'm fine with the Distinct. But yeah. I mean, Distinct can do mix bus stuff for kind of the genres you work on. I can tell you that, I've used it, and Cold Fire as well. This is the amazing thing. You can do a production in which you're not afraid to put them on the mix bus at 5% mix, and they sound really good, and they give that mix that push that just crunches away forward without sounding, crushed. Both of them, they both can do that. So the Pro, if it does mid side, yeah, that's probably kind of a little bit more mix oriented or stereo bus oriented. So let's try this again. Okay, so it works. You can use Tubetizer to kind of feed a little bit of a meteor thing into your effects, but it's still very light somehow. But we did treat it. Let's try and do copy A to B and do Pentode 2 now. You hear how the guitar doesn't give up? That's because of comp, tone, distortion, output. It's just kind of clinching in itself. There's many ways to do it. This is another way of doing it. Martin says, like, I do like to push the side maybe a bit tiny in distortion. Yeah, well, in that case, the Pro will do it. Yeah. Yeah, do check and then report on Discord what you find. Don't just buy stuff right away. But that's definitely, as I think Joey, yeah, who wrote that? Oh, you self-wrote it for yourself. The mid-side knob is a huge thing for sure. You know, there's ways around that, but having it in the plugin is much better. So it's cool, it's cool. It's not overboarding anything. And in this case, maybe the iron works if you want to iron out the thing. See how nice you can offset distortion and output together? And they just, you know, they keep going with their offset. That's kind of cool because once you offset it, it just stays in place. I think if we push a ton of gain into these, that's why people want the input knob. I'm gonna try it out just for kicks. I'm gonna take this trim. I'm gonna add another trim. Hold on. We're gonna take, do I have MSCD? Yes. All right, we're gonna use MSCD to feed more gain into Tubetizer, okay? I'm gonna lower the output a lot just because it's gonna be super noisy, super loud, and then I'm gonna go mid gain. We have like 12 on, and then the side gain. Okay, let's try with the mid. See, it works. It generates more distortion, but we have no way of just gaining down. We need another plugin afterwards to just go up, down. So an input and output knob, clean trims would be good for sure. You can comp away more, but it's not the same as just pushing gain into the plugin for sure. So. All right, let me add bass here just for kicks. I kind of like how it's becoming really open. All right, let's take this bass and let's see if this works. You can barely hear it, right? But, all right, the default preset. You can barely hear it, but I want to clean this track here, this bass. Because they're clashing against that. Hello, UAJXXRG GXRG TV. Super hard to pronounce. Hello, welcome to the stream. Jolie said, the D-String Pro is good, but it seems to be different than the known Pro. Oh, really? Like, does it sounds different? I mean, the new one, they did the, maybe that's why I didn't quite like, maybe, but I've used the mid side, so I could have been thrown off by other stuff. So it seems to work on vocals very well according to a reply to GS thread. Yeah, well, if it's on GS thread, then it's gotta be true for sure. Let me clean this thing. So these bass, it's not really giving me that cut. right? I think it could be angrier, like a decapitator, you know, destroy kind of button, you know, like a crush thing, like a plus 24, you know. Yeah, it's because we're not, you know, it's still kind of clean. It's kind of a different animal. The Pro seems to be inspired by the Overstayer. Is it? Because I love the mass. You're talking about the MAS, right? I don't know. I think it was. Is it? Maybe that's why I like it. I don't know. I just took distinct for what it does. When I tried it, I was like, these I like, you know, and just use it. Do I have it here? I do. Oh, come on. Come on. I own you. Why aren't you here? Do we want to try and compare it? The bass thing here with the other one? I think you need more volume. In the stream itself or my voice? Or to destroy it. It's three things. If you say like you need more volume to get Tubetizer to crunch, for sure. But then, you know, I don't know if my stream is like if I'm low or if the music is too low or something, so we'll handle it. I'll give you a little bit more. Like this is full pantoed, distortion 100, a little bit of sidechain by full comp, full tone. How about zero comp? Oh wait, it's off Tubetizer. Of course. So this is Tubetizer with everything on, pantoed 100, whatever. It's, you know, it's nice, but it's just a tube warmer kind of thing. So, you know, more volume for Tubetizer. Okay. You know, I was afraid like the volumes on the stream were like kind of too off than normal. A little bit is obvious because when I talk or when I send a synth sound, it's like completely crashed. It's obviously gonna be louder. I don't want to put limiters on the stream because if I do, then we don't know what is what, right? If we're pushing the limiter on the stream and stuff. But true. So now Tubetizer sounds to me like a warmer thing. Like it's used to warm things up. And that's why, as Jolie says, and I agree, it needs two pots for input and output on a clean way. While just remember, if we want to go distortion here, I don't have it on auto gain, and I just let's play with distinct. Let's do it again. I've become bigger, just to emphasize the... Do you hear it? If you say no, there's something wrong with the stream for sure. Now, distinct, what I love about it is that the algorithm is kind of hearing... You can hear which part of the bass pad is hearing, right? And it's giving it a synthesizer effects vibe. Okay, now we're on to it. Why do I like distinct? Why did I put it on something when I was producing and it came out and I have these? I know for sure I do have it. But when I install the new versions, it's just asking to register. But you know, 14 days is plenty to have this sorted out. Why did I like it? It sounds to me like a good distortion algorithm from not too old synthesizers. Like a Roland, like a Korg, like mostly these two. Or when I used to put some Korg pedals on some synthesizers I had. It has this quality. So Distinct needs a lot less volume than Tubetizer. Absolutely, you know, is that like, but it's not about the distortion itself. It's just like you hear how it moves, right? Let's do off and on. You hear the side channel? It's just moving. So you do something like this on a track, like just these drums, and then is the guitar playing maybe? Now off. It's filling space. So you know the music I make, it's just like gonna be like, of course, like, you know. But I didn't put it everywhere, but I have a couple send returns where this is used. Now, you remember what I had said? That I wish there were a little bit less low frequencies in this pad because they clash with the other bass. You have HF, so you can do that as well. Or, you know, HPF or LF, so let's try that. Hear the filter? That's also like very kind of turntable-y. And I like that you can cut a bit higher and push the lows anyway. You hear what we're doing? We're shifting the low body higher and we're keeping the distortion up. So now we're going to, did I miss some message or something? I'm gonna read them in a second. Now we're gonna add the other bass, and then I'm gonna go off and you're gonna hear that they're a little bit clashing together when there's no distinct. Yeah. I mean, it's filling some other spaces. I like that. Is it too much? You can maybe even mix it at 70%. Boom. Because there is an interaction between bass 1 and 3, but it's just like within the drums itself. Do you hear it, right? So with distinct, which is not the objective of our stream, but it is, who cares? Do you care? I don't. We get a lot more control. And I think this plugin just is, it's clicking, it just does it. So I'm gonna read the message. So that's why Tubetizer needs cleaning, but that's the compressor doesn't work. The volume is great at the live stream. Oh, thank you very much. So I've been testing Tubetizer in BC Patchwork because of the lack of clean I/O is a pain. With Patchwork, yes, you just go boom and you can link them around, and yeah, absolutely. Distinct needs a lot less volume. The problem with Tubetizer is because the default output is already maxed, there's nowhere to go to get more. True, exactly. So, but again, we might hear, like, I don't know, if I'm developing this, you know, I don't know, Eddie or whoever, you know, somebody might tell, well, you're expecting it to do distinct type of tasks, but it's meant to kindly massage stuff. So more like something you put on all of your tracks to get the tube-like approach. And just like tubes, you don't really get a lot of leeway with heavy electronic sounds. You do, but when you're preparing tracks and they're real, like a real drum kit, bass guitar amped, and it just builds on it because there's real air from the mics getting captured. But I mean, distinct is, it's where it's at, for sure, you know? So what we could do without using distinct is create sort of a preset for Tubetizer and say, what if we just want to kind of have a gentle push, you know? We go triad, we're gonna go tone a little bit on the higher side, no compression, the output, I don't know, I'm gonna check, and then we just copy paste it everywhere, and we go before and after although it's gonna be a little bit hard for me to do it because I don't think I can do horizontal bypass groups in Bitwig, or maybe I haven't discovered how, so you'll know. Let's try this first. I think it's fair. They kind of sound similar. So let me do this. Let me drop it everywhere. All right, ARPs 2. Okay, so now we have it on all the instruments. I'm gonna keep adding stuff, and then let's hear how it sounds, and then I'm gonna turn it off. Okay, we got kind of a nice sound, but now we're going to just take it out, and one by one, I'm gonna just go off with them. I don't think I can bypass all of them, see? That's something that Bitwig doesn't do. If you know how to do it, hit me up, just because I don't think I can. But I'll go off with all the tracks I have, and we'll just hear how or if it collapses, okay? Then in the videos I can also do quick comparisons, but. Okay, it does work. Is it significant enough for being 100% distortion? I mean, it says distortion. It doesn't say like warmizement, It doesn't say warmth. It just says distortion, which technically, I mean, yes, but, right? So I like if I didn't have to mix it and had to pick between the two, I hear less contrast and less fighting. Contrast is good, but I hear too much information in the non-tubetized version. So there you have it. I hear a tiny little bit less confusion with. So maybe I'm, I don't know, maybe I'm partial to it. I don't know. So, and you said like, just another question. Do you like the tape machine from Kiive? I did use it in the demos, but I haven't used it on my stuff. But I don't use a lot of tape. I have like a couple plugins that are not that way. It's kind of a little bit bitey sometimes. I remember it was kind of keeping you on the edge of using that. Maybe on a drum bus more than on a mix bus, something like that. Hey, hi guys, hello, just subscribe. Thank you very much. Thank you for subbing. See you around. Absolutely. Mr. McLaughlin, what effect do you use on a physical pedal and or are very bad on plugins? Do you use what effect do you use a physical pedal on? You mean probably, and are very bad on plugins. I don't think should be labeled drive as distortion. So, okay. Jolie says it should not be named distortion, but it should be named drive. That's true, absolutely. If you name it drive, you're done. Although Pentode, I still wish it completely overkilled something, so I would still put an overload button and the in-outs. That'd be my, not want to say what must be done, but just ideas. McLaughlin, I haven't understood. What effect do you use as a physical pedal and are very bad on plugins. What effect do you use a physical pedal on, maybe? You can feel free to reformulate the question because I don't want to answer. I didn't get your question. Martin says, I think I prefer the ATR at this moment. I mean, the ATR is, it's probably a bit harder to do a lot of sound design on it, maybe, but it certainly nails the 2-track kind of thing. That's doable. It's not the only one, but certainly. I mean, I'm sure some people, like the Black Rooster as well, for tape, they were kind of, just keeping you on your toes. It's not just like, it can be used as a finisher, but you really, it has that forwardness kind of bite. The ATR is more about just the full picture of the thing. The A800 plugin fun switch over to ADR. I still use the A800 on single tracks, but I wouldn't put it on a mix as much as the ADR. But I kind of changed the 102 to sound, if I want to do that, to not have that massive scoop of the low mids, because it makes things easier to translate, but I hate that it just completely eats my mids and just adds too much bite. So it depends. But if you calibrate it a little bit at the very end of the thing, it just completely becomes more neutral. I'm sorry, McLaughlin, I didn't get your question. What effect do you use a physical pedal on? Are you asking about what physical pedals do I use? Because I do use physical pedals. I have there, I think it means which piece of hardware is better compared to the plugin version. Okay, that could be a good question. So that's a good question. There's some things that, for example, okay, I meant to say, do you use any effect pedals? Thank you, McLaughlin, just it's easier. I just keep thinking of Superbad with your nickname, which is one of my favorite movies ever. I keep thinking about McLovin, but I know it has nothing to do with that. You just completely triggered my Superbad memory of the movie, and it's just that, There's actually a good friend I have that has kind of a similar nickname, last name, if that's your last name nickname. I meant to say, do you use any effect pedals for getting some tone or sound effects, which are otherwise very bad in a plugin? Good question. Okay, so Martin got it. Thank you very much. So, because you're here and I can get it. I have physical pedals and I use plugins as well. So to tell you that physical pedals are 100% better all the time than plugins, it's a stretch, okay? Because we gotta first say, is it sound that we want, or is it the workflow as well? So we cannot put the workflow in because it can skew the verdict one way or another. So I use physical effects and they do sound great, but I could replace the physical effects with plugins and still be completely satisfied of my productions. And they would not put me out of business in the sense that if I do use plugins, I lose the quality that the people that maybe hire me say, it's bad, we don't want you. No, okay? I have a Strymon Volante, I have a Strymon Big Sky, I have a Strymon Timeline, I have a Black Hole pedal and an Avalanche by Eventide, and I have an Avalanche Run pedal. So most of the things I use in pedal form are reverbs and delays, or reverb delays pedals. I don't use distortions, but I have distortion pedals that I sometimes trigger in, sample something, take them out, or sometimes keep them. I used to use more pedals like Morley, MXR. I have an original Rat pedal from 1983, 4, I think the serial, the chip number, whatever. And I have an original Tube Screamer, okay? But I had a recording studio as well. So, and I was playing live as well, or doing productions in which I was putting them through keyboards. So I like the convenience, but if I had to tell you that the Eventide Black Hole sounds better in pedal than it does on the plugin, I would be linearly lying to you. because the black hole pedal sounds as good as the plugin. Does it have an edge? I've tried to do A/B, and honestly, it works. Is it deeper? Is it more 3D, the pedal? I mean, considering what you have to do to set up the pedal, the plugin is just fantastic. Same for the Super Tap. So why do I use pedals? Because in my setup, it's easier to compose with those things in hardware form. So I take my Prophet 12 and I decide how much of the black hole I want. I just go up. There's no latency. There's no CPU usage. I mix as I go. So I record and mix my songs. I don't do a specific afterwards mix for my soundtrack stuff. The music I write most of the time, I mix as I go. So taking 5 delay pedals, plugins off the computer helps me a lot. So, and it's a workflow thing. Also, I don't like to turn on the computer to write an idea. So I can do I can play my Moog and have the black hole on it, and it just sounds fantastic that way. And I can experiment and then say, okay, this is a sound I like, and then compose. I don't need to put it into a DAW to do it, right? So I know there's a Big Sky plugin. I know there's tons of delays that you can use. This said, I would not sell them for plugins. Absolutely not. But I keep them on one preset most of the time. I have the original, I have the Ibanez Tube Screamer. I'm gonna go get it, hold on. Oh, here. This tube, here. Can you believe I'm still wearing shorts? I do, right? Cargo pants, sorry, but still shorts. So this is the Ibanez I have. It's a TS9 Tube Screamer, and beautiful. Now, do you need a hardware one? How many plugins are there for Tube Screamers? Zillions. And that's, look at look at my Rat. It's got no black pedal. It's a RT 1636586. That's the Rat. That's the Proco, right? Yeah. Nice vest, by the way. You're moving to pro streamer. I can't be a pro streamer because I don't have enough clothing to do, 3 streams a week. I gave up anyway because it's just, I need too much clothing and I don't want to do it. Anyway, these are the two. I'm gonna put them in front of some people here. That's 2 pedals that I like to use, but I don't keep them on all the time. For distortion, I don't do that a lot. Distortion, I like the Prophet 6 distortion. I like when I crash my mixer on the Moog. I like the distortion on the Prophet 12. I usually like them on the synthesizers I use, while the reverbs and delays, I like them on pedals. So that's it. For example, the bass line, the Erica Synth bass line, has plenty of saturation and distortion. So that I like those distortions on the units. So these are very good. This one I got in Berlin. I think I got both. No, maybe this, yes, I think I bought both in Berlin. But this one I got at a flow market. So this is like a flea market, okay? And it was just about closing. I had gone there to meet with a friend who's actually one of the records you mixed, and is a great Brazilian percussionist and drummer. And he told me about that, and he was there. So we get there, he was eating outside, and I just jump in, and people were closing the market, and were gathering their things. One of the booths had these, and I told the guy, I looked it up, I looked at the chip, and I was like, this is a good one. And I was like, how much do you want? And the guy was like, 50. And I was like, I'll give you 40. And I was like, all right, I don't care, just 40 is fine. And I think he was selling it for like 80 or 90 bucks. So I think I got it for either 50 or 40. He asked something, I took $10 off. Because he was closing, he just said like, go. I am just the way, and you are just the way you are. You don't need to change your clothing or yourself. No, absolutely. You gotta be yourself. I cannot dress for the streams. Absolutely. So these are two awesome pedals. If you have a chain in the studio and you're playing with it, having them is convenient. You plug them in, you play. They add something on the, in real time. It's really good. It feels good to have that chain that sounds like that just because you're doing it, on the moment. That's good. But to say that you need a real tube screamer because there's no other pedal that does tube screaming, one, it's false. There's amazing ones. For example, if I didn't have this one and I had, a monkey pedal, that? Like, I don't know what it's called. Like, I think it's called something, it's a green monkey thing. That's a fantastic pedal as well. An OCD, full tone, or, we can name tons of them. They sound beautiful on synths, on guitars, it doesn't matter. Plug-in form, tons of them. There's these ones being done by everybody, pretty much, and the Rat as well. But there's something about the realness of it. If you're composing, if you have a guitar friend coming over, I don't know if you see them there, but behind me, there's 5 amps that I still have. My Top Boosts AC30, the Fender Champ, the Ampeg bass amp. They're there. The BA, they're the Marshall tiny whatever that's called, the Master Lead combo. I still have them there. I'm not gonna sell my amps, but I don't really use them every day, Next time I'm gonna do like a red tie, white shirt, like Hitman 47 kind of thing. That's very woke. Yeah. You're just the way you are. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So, you can use plenty of these things, and they're beautiful, but the plugins sound fantastic. Absolutely. These pedals are like what, $200-300 each. 100. I think I paid around 100 for a Black Hole. Cytomic the Scream, amazing. Audiorities, it's got a lot of them. Luca does pretty much all the classic pedals and more. Whatever. I think I even have them here, or maybe I have the Grindstone here. Safari pedals. Yeah. But once you analyze my workflow, then you see that it makes sense to have them. But it's the same for everything I have. Like, I don't know, a distressor. Do you need a hardware distressor? I have 2 with the British options. Why do I have 2? Why do I have distressors? Because I had a recording studio. And now I'm using it to compose myself. So I was, we would do bands in real time and we had gear, So I, in the ears I bought it and kept it. Do I use the distressors on my music? Absolutely, yes. How are they? They're plugged into after preamps of some of my synthesizers, I have a Vox AC30 Top Boost from 1976, I think, or 9. Maybe it's 9. It's blue Alnico, it's blue Bulldog speaker. It's the real deal. And it was a good deal, but still an expensive one. It's got maybe a little bit of like a hole in the Tolex, I think. Yeah. But it smells beautiful when it's on. It does smell beautiful, for sure. Because it's just, these pedals, these amps are like heaters and stuff, and when it smells, it's ready to be played. So it's really, it's a good question, and people ask it from time to time, like, why do you use the stuff you use? What do you need a Prophet 6? Do you need a Moog? Do you need a Bass Station 2? You don't really need anything. Within the box, you can do so much, for sure. You want a Prophet 6 plugin? Wow. The Prophet 6 isn't actually, that I know of, represented in VST, right? Nobody did the 6. There's all Prophet 5s, sorry, out there, right? The 6 is just unique and it's just a beautiful thing. I don't think there's a Prophet 12 out there. There's Voyagers, VSTs, there's Nord Leads for sure. There's Poly 6s, there's the Juno there. I mean, most of the hardware I have you can get on Plugin 4. So absolutely. And why would you want the real thing? Because it's the real thing. There's nothing about just fiddling with the controls and doing that. There's a sense of commitment to it, and it sounds great. The Erica synth, the whatever. I mean, even the JV1080 that I have there, you can see the Roland, is just beautiful. Yet it's what? It's like not a legendary module, right? I mean, it has become, but if you think about it, it's just like one of the many things Roland did. But it's got sounds for days. And I have expansion cards, and there's a couple things you put through these plugins, for example, the distortions, and they just sound fantastic. So there you have it, We did like 8 p.m. right there. We did a nice test of Tubetizer, which just came out today. We found out that it could be improved to the uses we want to do, but at present stage, it does not want to be another distinct, okay? It does not want to be another distinct, for sure. It's a warmer, sort of. It's a drive unit that can kind of warm the sound up gently, but it doesn't go overly into mayhem. Will it do it in the next episodes, in the next versions, iterations? Maybe Kiive will change it to get more of an evil approach. But it makes sense that Distinct does one thing and Tubetizer has a more feathered touch, for sure. So, that's it. Jolie says, you meant the Prophet 600? No, the Prophet 6. When Dave Smith started developing his DSI company, the Dave Smith Instruments company, he didn't have the sequential name, but he wanted to come back to the synthesizer world to just continue his legacy. The sequential name had been bought by Yamaha, I think, at the time. And he couldn't use it any longer when the sequential company went under, right? So he did not want to build a new Prophet 5. He didn't want to do it. And he decided he would do after, yes, I think the Prophet 12, right after the 12, which is like his biggest achievement probably today, just because of how complex that machine is. He said, I'm gonna do a Prophet 6 because it's gonna be the modern incarnation of the Prophet 5. I am never gonna do the Prophet 5 again because I did it back in the days, that's the original. Later on, he did though. And he came up with the 5 and the 10, there were projects already to redo it. I had the 6, I don't think you, Jolie, know this story because you probably joined after, I don't know, I think I said it in a video or so. So I had the 6 and I traded it for a 5 new version. So a revision, what is called? Revision 5, the new version, okay? Made by Sequential because by the time the 6 came out, the Sequential brand was back in Dave's hands, so he could call it Sequential again. So that's a Sequential Prophet 6. And I traded it for a 5 because a guy I knew had the 5 and wanted the 6. I had the 6 and I had this itch for the 5, okay? I traded it and I've used the 5 for I think 6-8 months, but after 2 months, 3 months, I wanted the 6 back. I thought the 6 was really my kind of sound. It's insane, it's insane. They're different. They are by all means not the same thing. They've got things that the 6 does that you can't do on the 5 and vice versa for some chips and things to do. And so the guy I asked it to, he said, I'm not giving you the 6 back because I like the 6 more than the 5. And so I put the 5 for sale, I sold it, and I bought another Prophet 6 when I sold it. I went to Nuremberg to get it. So this 6 is the second I had. It's a much better shape, much better wood color and finish and everything, but it's just essentially the same thing. And now I will never give it away because the 6 is really what I like. but it's a Prophet 6. It's got distortion built in, it's got Seal the Poly mod, it's got the oscillators, glide or not glide, sorry, the what is called the I'm kind of the age of the amount, the slop, sorry, the slop, which was the original term, and then they developed a vintage kind of knob that the 5 had, but the 6 got as a system firmware upgrade, so you can do the same thing. What you cannot do is change from the SSM to the other chip like the 5 does, but the 6 just has an amazing tone, and it's just such a modern Prophet. Just like my Moog Voyager. I would never trade the Voyager for the Mini Moog, ever. If you give me a vintage Mini Moog and you say you give me your Voyager and I give you the Prophet, the Mini Moog, I would not trade the Voyager for the Mini, ever. I love the Mini Moog, but it's just not entirely my sound. The Voyager is 100% my sound. I mean, it's just like guitars, you know. Gibson or Fender, or even better, like a Tele and a Stratocaster. There's no better. There's people who really connect with the Telecaster and other that do with the Stratocaster, or the jazz versus precision, you know. It's the same thing, you know, or a Les Paul with whatever, like an Epiphone. You can't really say one is better than the other. So, and we don't want to, we don't care. Ultimately, you probably want both, but I know if I had the Voyager and the Mini, I would play the Voyager all the time. Same for the Prophets 5 and 6 and whatever. I wanted for a very long time a Korg Monopoly, but the prices are way insane. And again, I would not trade a Monopoly for the Poly 6. The Poly 6 is just beautiful. It's just a one-of-a-kind synthesizer again. Man, we're digressing. So, people, thank you very much for joining today as well in this other stream. We talked about everything, but then we close it in. So, it was great having you here. I will probably continue take some questions and stuff, and we'll talk about that in a week or so. All right? No, maybe less. We'll keep going until what? Maybe Wednesday or something. Cosbilly says, what gift did you receive? Oh, you want to know what gift I received? A guy I know sent me a new computer keyboard that apparently he tweaked himself as well. That was a gift. So today, these came in the mail, and an email said, I see it's being delivered to you. And you weren't here, Cosbilly, for the sound test, but you'll be able to see that in the beginning of the stream. And I read his email. They make computer keyboards, and he said my streams are good, but he doesn't like the sound of my computer keyboard. And so he's sending me a new computer keyboard. So this is the sound of the old keyboard. You ready? I'm gonna do like, I have to open Notepad or something. Okay, new computer keyboard. Sorry, what did I say? Did I mess it up? Old computer keyboard. New computer keyboard. All right, Cosby, that's the rundown. I love this thing. And I showed it, I have to plug it in. It's got RGB as well, look at that. So I still have to plug it in, but that's the gift I got. And thank you. I mean, Nate, he didn't connect. I don't know if he's ever, participated to the stream. I think, maybe. So that's the gift. And he said, just do whatever you want with it. It's yours, but they make keyboards. And he said, do some ASMR if you want, which I just did. Martin says, I traded once a Yamaha S90 ES to a Kurzweil K2500XS. I've had Kurzweil keyboards, a lot. Not a lot of them, but 2. which was in great shape, but the Yamaha wasn't. When I traded the Kurzweil for a Korg Triton 88 keys, worst choice ever. I couldn't work with the Kurzweil OS menus. It sounds like a very bad trade, says Jolie. The Yamaha was worth around 1,500 euro back then, while the Kurzweil was more than double the price. All the Korg was worth not even half of it. So my first super serious keyboard was a K2500X, which actually Luca from Audiority bought before I moved to the US. So this was 2003, I think. He bought it, and maybe he still has it. And then I moved to the US, and I bought a K2600XS, okay? But don't think I'm a millionaire. I just got it off one church in St. Louis that had like these amazing deals. I think I paid $2,800 back then. And the euro was convenient over the USD, so I got it for even less. Or maybe 3K, something like, but I had money from the sale of the Kurzweil in Italy. I pretty much paid it back for it. Insane deal. The keyboard was completely new, mint, flawless. And the moment it arrives, the UPS driver drops it on the floor. I saw that with my very eyes. I was on the balcony of my apartment, and I saw the guy opening the door for the complex, the gate, and the keyboard box fell, depending on how you want it, falls right over his feet, completely vertical. He gives it to me, we open it up, the upper octave is completely destroyed. Can you believe it? School was starting 2 weeks after. I had to practice and I couldn't do it. I mean, I could do it, but not going up there. Luckily, the keyboard functioned, but it's insane. So I got the official claim from the UPS people. They refunded everything, the expenses for the repairs. So I even rented a Ram 2500 through Enterprise Rent-A-Car or something like it. Yeah, I think it was Enterprise. So we rent a Dodge Ram 2500, and we drive it to the service center. I drop the Kurzweil, take it back a week after, and this company, a UPS, paid for everything, even the gas and the car rental, everything, literally everything. What saved me was that the box was packaged by some people at UPS in St. Louis. So it was officially packed by people in the office, in the UPS shop. So they could not say that it was an insufficient packaging. And I got my perfectly mint. It was already new. It became even newer because they just replaced pretty much everything because it had been crushed on one side. People insane. I saw the keyboard box drop in front of the UPS driver from like 7 inches, of his feet. And he was like, his feet were okay, but the keyboard fell from where he was standing down to the ground. And I was like, it's destroyed. And it was, in fact, but they fixed it. So I had it, and I liked the Kurzweils, but they're kind of particular weird keyboards. So yeah, I mean, the S90 ES, beautiful keyboard, great keyboard action, good piano sound, and the Kurzweil is more of a workstation. It's got weird sounds. You gotta know how to program VAST. And shout out to Luca, who's a master at VAST, the VAST synthesis engine that the Kurzweils have. Luca is a wizard at it. Maybe one of the few people who really, really know it. Not that they say they do, that they say they do, and they also know it. They actually do. Like, he's really good at programming a Kurzweil. So I have never used the sampling feature, whatever. But That's my story of the Kurzweil. Yeah, probably if I had to choose now, I would even go back to a K2000. You know, there's some sounds from the K2000 that I love that the 2500 has, but you don't need to pay that premium. You can get a 2000. The K2000 has sounds that were used in, there's a couple records I love that have those sounds. If you followed Kevin Moore, after he left Dream Theater, he built these, he did a one-man sort of band called Chroma Key. And I absolutely love those records. Dead Air for Radios is one of my absolute favorite records ever. And it features a lot of sounds from the Kurzweil too, like the piano, there's a couple weird sounds, that might not be the best quality, but they have that mood. So I kind of like that. The key beds aren't great ones, but the sounds are great. Yamaha has their own key bed for the S90, I think. They make their own, they don't have it under third party, but Kurzweil uses the Fatar. It's a Fatar, how you want to call it, Fatar. And this company is based in Emilia-Romagna still, I think, in kind of like central northern Italy, just north of Toscana, or Florence, where I grew up. And they make key beds for a lot of companies. I think Novation has Fatar. I think the Prophet's Fatar as well. I've been there, and where they make the key beds. When I was probably around like 20, 21, I went there, I bought a new key bed, and I brought it back home to replace it for my actual 2500X, because I had played it so much that the key bed was kind of in need of changing. It was a little bit soft. And I just bought it naked, which you cannot really do, but I bought it because I didn't have a company, but I bought it anyway. I mean, they gave it something X demo. I don't know how they justified it. I paid the price that it costs, and I went home and just replaced the old one. And for years, I love this stream. We're going back down memory lane. My mom used to keep the key bed in my original bedroom, had like kind of a closet. And there was this, and she would always ask me when I was there for just a day or so, or maybe a week, even when I was in LA, abroad, even in Berlin, like, what do I have to do with that thing? She didn't know if it was good. Like, do you want to sell it? Do you need to sell it? I was like, I don't know if anybody's going to buy it, because that's the used one, it's kind of old. And I think in the end, she disposed of it, because it wasn't even, it was usable, but not. Think about the stories I have that you people still don't have. Like, what? Absolutely. But the Kurzweil is a good keyboard, for sure. It's complicated somehow. It's got a little bit too cliche sounds for orchestral stuff and things. I would probably go towards Korg more, just because I want keyboards not to have realistic sounds now. I kind of want keyboards to have something that has a bit of an attitude. So, you mentioned the Triton. I could live with a Triton. It's okay. A Kronos, okay. Not as a main keyboard, but I like those keyboards. I had a Trinity V3 with the Moss expansion. I've had tons of keys. I bought the Trinity V3 in Los Angeles for $300. And I sold it to a friend in Spain for $600. And trust me, I didn't rip him off. I think he still has it. His name is Pablo. I think he still has it. Plays keyboards, metal bands, rock bands, whatever. I think he still has the Trinity, which now is worth tons more. Trust me, $600 back then was a great deal for a keyboard. But I did pay $330, I think, for my V3. And I regret selling it a lot. Like a lot. I shouldn't have sold it. I brought it back to Italy, and then I sold it to Pablo for, which we would be in touch via MSN or whatever, just talking about keys and stuff. I've never met him, but I hope he still has it. Still hope. Then he says, I just looked it up at our Dutch market, the 2000 V3, $600, including flight case. It's a weird keyboard, man, but it's got cool sounds. The problem with the Kurzweils is that they needed to have realistic but boring sounds because they were used a lot by churches. So churches needed strings, orchestral sounds, things that kind of had sort of a standard vibe, you know what I mean? And it was good, but if you need to venture with those sounds into weirdness, maybe at the time Korg already had crazy stuff. When I was younger, I was the opposite. I wanted normal sounds, so I was more into Yamaha and Kurzweils. But Korg, Roland, they had kind of weirder things going around. So Korg Z1, I never owned one. And Jolie, you had a K25 RS with the KDFX, right? I remember that. That's the rack version, right? The Korg, yeah, with the KDFX option, that's good. I mean, then Kurzweil did the what was it? Like they did a specific reverb unit. They did a multi-effect thing. They're good stuff, and they're still around. I think they still make keyboards. I don't know. The pianos were pretty awful, says Martin Montreaton. Yeah. I mean, they're not awful, but they're peculiar. They're not 100% realistic acoustic pianos. But if you play in a band and you're playing on stage or something, if the singer sings and you're playing those pianos, nobody's gonna complain. It's okay. Then later on, because of sampling options, Clavia came out with amazing piano sounds, Roland, Casio, Yamaha, more memory, more gigabytes, more megabytes at the time, megabytes, more memory, more realism. But honestly, like the Korg Triton piano, I love. The Kurzweil piano, I love. I prefer something that is limited but has a, some sort of a personality to it. The Nord Electro 2 mono piano, beautiful. I've played so much of that because it's just mono. It felt great under the fingers, beautiful. It's a mono piano, think about that. So, yeah. The Trinity has the same sounds like the Triton has. Yes, but the Tritons can do a bit more. The Trinity has a little bit more of a limited engine, but it kind of feels a little bit sharper. It's like the JD 990 versus the JV 990 versus the JD 800. The 990 rack is a little bit like sharper converters sound. The 800 is a little bit more like a warmer, like a duller, darker sound. It's still got plenty of edge, but the 990 is very, very defined and bright on some sounds, and I think it's the DA. There you go. I mean, synths talk. How many hours can we go on talking about this stuff? Forever. Martin says, very digital, you're right. Within the whole band it works. Absolutely. Even the strings, you go on stage with 2,000 gigabytes of real strings, it doesn't work. You go with the Korg keyboard, put on some strings, play them, you got a keyboards player playing strings there. It works. It's more compressed. It's just ready, beefier. So people, I'm gonna close it down. And then we are going to see each other soon over Discord and on Patreon as well. If you're watching this, remember that it's being made possible by the people in my Patreon. And these people support me actively by, paying something every month, but make it possible for people here to watch streams like these. But there's a lot more in the Patreon. We talk a lot about stuff. We do comparisons. We do mix initiatives. We just have a lot of discounts, which are dangerous because we can buy plugins at a very discounted rate. Some people come for the discounts, but they stay for the content. So we do more master classes. There's a new one I've worked on. It needs editing, but it's done. It's called Old School Studio in the Box. And it's 5 hours of footage that I've tracked, okay? So it's probably gonna be around 3 hours. And I go over creating an old school studio master, you know, sort of like template that will give you a virtual recording mixing space, multi-track tape, console, gear, very specific. There's no digital EQs, just analog, and then a master bus, like a mix bus for gear, and then a tape recorder for 2-track. Hours and hours of material, right? And check out my Patreon there. You'll see links here in the description. Today we talked about Tubetizer by Kiive. We compared it to Distinct. We found that Tubetizer is a little bit on the warmer side, and he wants just to massage and kind of add a little bit of warmth to it. It can distort, but it's nowhere close to Distinct, okay? Which can really do distortion mayhem. And it has a musicality of its own, so there's 2 different projects. Version 1 of Tubetizer is out today. We don't know if it's gonna be that there's new versions coming out. For sure there's gonna be updates. We're gonna keep an eye on it. For now, I cannot just be anything but super thankful for all the time we spent together, you keeping up with the fact that I don't have any fancy clothing to do frequent streams. That's who I am, I don't care. We talk about pedals, gear, plugins, toys, keyboards. We talked about computer keyboards today. We did ASMR. What more can there be to life than this? Thank you very much, people. I'm really stoked that I can do it. We'll see each other soon on Discord, of course, and here on the stream, I would say next week, okay? Thank you very much. Now it's time to close. You know how it's gonna be. Ciao.